Captain Jake Morrison was drinking his third cup of coffee when the alarm bells started ringing. He put down his mug and looked at the main screen of the USS Liberty. 300 shiny ships had just appeared near Earth. They looked like giant diamonds floating in space. "Sir, we're getting a message," said Lieutenant Lisa Parker. She was trying not to smile, but Jake could see she was having trouble keeping a straight face. "Put it through," Jake said. The screen filled with the image of a tall alien creature. It had 4 arms, purple skin, and wore fancy golden robes. Its voice was deep and formal. "Greetings, primitive bipeds of the third planet. We are the Galactic Hegemony rulers of 47 star systems. You will now submit to our benevolent rule and join our glorious empire." Jake blinked. He looked around the bridge at his crew. Commander Rick Davis was raising his eyebrows. Lieutenant Parker was biting her lip to keep from laughing. Even the serious chief engineer Bob Wilson was shaking his head with a grin. Thanks for the offer," Jake said into the microphone. "But we're good." The alien's 4 eyes widened. "What do you mean you are good?" "I mean thanks, but no thanks. We're doing fine on our own." There was a long pause. The alien seemed to be talking to someone off-screen. Then it turned back to Jake. "I am Admiral Zexthul of the Hegemony. Perhaps you do not understand. We are offering you the chance to join our great empire. You will receive our protection and guidance." "That's very nice of you," Jake replied. "But like I said, we're good. We can protect ourselves." Admiral Zexthul's purple face was starting to turn a darker shade. "In 800 years of conquest, no species has ever refused our generous offer." "Well, there's a first time for everything," Jake said cheerfully. The alien began speaking faster. "You do not comprehend the benefits of Imperial membership. We offer advanced technology, interstellar trade, and the wisdom of our ancient civilization." Jake scratched his head. "Look, Admiral, I'm sure your empire is great and all, but we humans have this thing called independence. We're pretty fond of it." "Independence?" The alien said the word like it tasted bad. "You cannot survive alone in the galaxy. There are dangers you cannot imagine." "We've been doing okay so far," Commander Davis said, joining the conversation. "We've got wars, diseases, natural disasters, and politicians. If we can handle politicians, we can probably handle whatever else is out there." The bridge crew chuckled. Admiral Zexthul looked confused. "You make jokes in the face of galactic domination?" the alien asked. "We make jokes about everything," Lisa Parker said. "It's kind of our thing." Admiral Zexthul's face was now almost black with anger. "Perhaps you need a demonstration of our power. We possess weapons that can destroy entire worlds." Jake leaned back in his chair. "That's not very nice. We've got weapons too, you know. Ever heard of nuclear bombs?" "Nuclear weapons are primitive technology," the alien scoffed. "Maybe, but we've got a lot of them, and we have this concept called mutually assured destruction. Basically, if you blow us up, we blow you up too. Nobody wins." The alien stared at Jake for a long moment. "You would destroy yourselves rather than submit?" "We'd prefer not to destroy anybody," Jake said. "But we're not big on the whole submission thing. Bad experiences with that in the past." Admiral Zexthul was clearly struggling to understand. "But we are offering you paradise, order, structure, purpose." "We already have purpose," Jake replied. "We're exploring space, making art, falling in love, and trying to figure out how to make pizza taste better in zero gravity. That's purpose enough for us." "Pizza?" the alien asked. "It's food. Round, flat with cheese and tomato sauce. Sometimes we put other stuff on it. It's pretty good." The alien delegation on the screen started talking among themselves in their own language. It sounded like a bunch of angry cats having an argument. Finally, Admiral Zexthul turned back to the humans. "We will give you time to reconsider, but know this, the hegemony always gets what it wants." "Sure thing," Jake said. "Take all the time you need. We'll be here." The screen went black. The bridge was quiet for, "Sir," said Lieutenant Parker, "should we be worried?" Jake looked at his crew. They were all staring at him, waiting for orders. These were good people. They had families back on Earth. They had lives and dreams and hopes for the future. "Probably," he said, "but worrying never solved anything. Ozer, Bob, how are our defenses?" Chief Engineer Wilson grinned. All systems are green, Captain, and I've got a few tricks those fancy aliens haven't seen yet. Good. Rick, get me a line to Earth Command. They're going to want to know about our new visitors. Already on it, sir, Commander Davis replied. Jake picked up his coffee mug and took a sip. It was cold now, but it still tasted good. He looked out at the alien fleet in the distance. They were beautiful ships, he had to admit, like floating jewels against the black of space. Sir, Lisa Parker said quietly, do you think they'll attack? Jake shrugged. Maybe, maybe not. But if they do, they're going to learn something about humans they probably don't know. What's that, sir? We don't like bullies, and we really don't like being told what to do. The alien fleet began moving away from Earth, settling into a formation. About 1 million kilometers out, far enough to be safe, close enough to keep an eye on things. Looks like they're going to think about it, Commander Davis observed. Good, Jake said. Gives us time to order pizza for the night shift. I have a feeling this is going to be a long week. As the USS Liberty continued its orbit around Earth, Jake Morrison couldn't help. Somewhere out there, an alien admiral was probably having the worst day of his 800-year career. And it was all because a bunch of humans couldn't stop being themselves. The stars looked the same as they always had, but everything had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They had neighbors now, neighbors with big ships and bad attitudes, but they also had something the aliens didn't seem to understand. They had each other, and sometimes that was enough. A week passed without any word from the alien fleet. Then the message came through. We request a formal diplomatic meeting, Admiral Zexthul announced on the main screen of the USS Liberty. We will send our most accomplished cultural expert to negotiate your peaceful integration into our empire. Captain Jake Morrison nodded. Sure thing. Where do you want to meet? We will construct a neutral meeting station. It will be ready in 3 days. Jake looked at Commander Rick Davis, who shrugged. Sounds fair to me, Jake said. 3 days later, the aliens had built what looked like a giant crystal palace floating in space. It was beautiful and impressive, with lights and decorations that sparkled like diamonds. Ships moved around it in perfect formation. The human delegation was much smaller. Secretary of State Mary Collins led the group, along with General Pete Rodriguez and Dr. Amy Watson, a scientist who studied alien life. They traveled in a simple shuttle to the meeting station. When they docked, they were met by hundreds of aliens. There were guards in shiny armor, musicians with strange instruments, and officials carrying fancy banners. At the center of it all stood Ambassador Kretel, who was even taller than Admiral Zexthul and wore robes covered in jewels. Welcome to this historic moment, Ambassador Kretel said in his deep voice. Today marks the beginning of your species' journey into the greater galaxy. Mary Collins smiled politely. Thank you for the invitation. This is quite a setup you have here. The aliens led them through halls decorated with art from dozens of different worlds. Everything was perfect and organized. Not a single thing was out of place. They entered a huge meeting room with a table that could seat 100 people. The aliens had prepared thick books of documents, maps of the galaxy, and what looked like contracts written in gold ink. Ambassador Kretel gestured to a stack of papers. This is our standard integration treaty. It contains 847 pages detailing the terms of your membership in the hegemony. General Rodriguez whistled. That's a lot of paperwork. Indeed, we have sections on The paper had one sentence written on it. Earth passes on your generous offer. Have a nice day. Humanity. The ambassador picked up the paper and read it several times. His advisors gathered around him, talking in whispers. This is not how diplomacy works, Ambassador Kretel said finally. There must be lengthy negotiations, formal ceremonies, gradual integration processes. Why? Dr. Watson asked. She was taking notes and seemed fascinated by everything she saw. Because that is how it has always been done. Dr. Watson nodded. That makes sense for you, but we do things differently.